We'd like to welcome a special guest this morning. Joining us live in the studio, U.S. Congressman for Pennsylvania, Scott Perry. Good morning, Congressman Perry.
Thank you. Yeah.
We appreciate you taking the time to come on up. It's not too far of a drive, right?
Right, absolutely. Harrisburg is part of the district.
That's
so it's
right.
Across the river.
And there's so much going on. I know we wanted to talk a lot about what's happening, and we're going to start off with the crisis in Iraq. To what extent, I'm curious, to what extent do you think the U.S. should get involved in that?
Well, I think we have to get involved at least in discussions, certainly with the neighboring countries that have an absolute vested interest in the stake, and in maybe some intelligence and maybe some drone work, some strikes on some selected targets. But I don't think anybody wants to see us go back in and do our work that we've already completed once before, with boots on the ground, lives lost, more treasure spent.
Right. So we talk about, the president's talking about the advisors that are going over there to work with their military.
Sure. Yeah.
And that would be enough, you think, as far as...
Well, look, we don't know what's going to be enough yet. We haven't been in this role. And even I will tell you, I think many Americans are interested in the advisor status. We don't have the status of forces agreement with Iraq. We left without that. So what status are they in? If they, if there's some question about a violation of law, and of course their laws are very different than the laws in the United States, what protections do these American service members have in Iraq? So that's a concern. And then, we haven't been, this is actually another Islamist terrorist uprising, but it could turn into a sectarian civil war. And so it's very complicated with our allies and with the people that are involved. Al-Baghdadi, the guy that's running ISIS, who incidentally we left out of a prison that was in the area that I operated in when I was in Iraq. What's he going to be like, and what are his tactics? All that's very new for us right now.
And it must be challenging when you're trying to figure out some strategy there, because you have all these splinter groups that are going to be popping up all around. As a matter of fact, President Obama used the phrase whack-a-mole. All these popping up. Where can we go, and do we risk splintering and thinning out our troops?
Well, I think we do, and I think it goes to a greater strategy dealing with terrorism. I think this, I call it personally the Obama, Clinton, maybe Kerry doctrine of kind of pulling back, saying that we were actually at fault for creating these terror groups by our actions or in the past. Since the Obama administration has taken over and kind of had this policy of pulling back, terrorism has increased 43% globally. So you have to pick and prioritize, and we have to engage. We either pull back from the world or engage in the world, and I don't think we're going to pull back. 4th Congressional District in Pennsylvania is the largest manufacturing district in Pennsylvania congressionally. And those goods go overseas. So we're engaged in the world. We have to protect our interest in the world.
And of course, this is all happening when we're in the middle of a crisis on our own turf, and that is with the Veterans Administration. And, we talk about making sure our troops are safe, and when we bring them back here, your reaction to the stunning results of what they've said is happening?
Well, my reaction is disgust. I'm disgusted with it because we've asked these troops to lay down their lives on many occasions, and then when you come back broken, that we don't treat our veterans, regardless of how long it takes, it is unacceptable. Of course, the good news is that the Lebanon VA, our closest facilities, seem to be immune to some of this stuff, but we haven't really fixed it in Congress. The House has passed a couple bills to allow some oversight and actual firing of some of these senior level executives who heretofore can't be fired. But the Senate has passed a bill that says throw more money at it. We have the VA budget has increased 243%. And still these problems remain. It's not about throwing more money at it. It's about getting to the root of the problem, holding people accountable, and making sure the veterans get the care they deserve.
All right, we are out of time. I know there's so much more we could talk about. I know we wanted to talk about Bo Bergdahl, but I want to let our viewers know that you're going to be on Face the State with Rob Hanrahan, right?
So we have another shot at Perry, right? Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll hear more about what's happening, and but I appreciate you taking the time out to join us this morning.
Thank you very much, Sherry.
All right. Congressman Scott.